Welcome back, everybody, to Two Tamers Talk. As always, joined by my guy, Jeff. He is via
Hey guys.
satellite in his luxurious hotel room there in beautiful San Jose, California.
Yeah, it's nice weather here.
Living the dream, as always. Promising you guys we're going to make this work no matter what. You're going to
Yep.
get this content however we can make it work. So, little technical stuff to do to get this to work, but I think we got it figured out. So, not only are you down in California, you also played in a locals tonight because you couldn't play in ours because you're not local. So, how was your local scene? How is it down there in Cali? Is it still super meta?
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, no, it's really nice too that both our local days kind of line up, right?
Yeah.
So, you're playing Wednesday night, I'm playing Wednesday night. It was very, very meta, very aggressive down here. A lot of people preparing for nationals or regionals down here. A lot of people like you hear those conversations in the background, right? Like, oh, hey, they brought up Werguru or Melga X, right? Just totally dominated last event, so they think security control is going to make a big comeback to kind of counter that. So seeing that conversation, seeing everyone's gears turning, hearing people trying out different decks. I played against a lot of Blue Flare today. First two rounds were both against Blue Flare. And I apologize to anyone I've ever played Blue Flare against ever. Yep, I forgot how much I hate playing against Blue Flare. It's a very strong deck, very powerful. If you haven't seen our deck profile, check it out. It's very strong. I played Cross tonight, and I think this is the first time ever at any event I just lost every game.
Oh no!
So it was not a good night for your hero here.
Well, you pulled the room with some of our core members, and you're like, "What should I play tonight?" I voted for Blue Flare.
You did, and I should have just not pulled them, and I should have just went with what you said, because they led me astray. So not only do I absolutely hate King Shout even more, it just makes me like almost wonder like what happened with the game, right? Like they did such a good job making Crossheart so strong, so fast. And they gave other decks the ability to go strong and fast.
Yeah.
But then they like kind of nerfed the Crossheart, which I agree was the right move, right?
Right.
But then it's like, okay, so now to compete against Blue Flare, I play Blue Flare, right? So it's definitely interesting kind of conversation, but always have a good time. All the players down here are super nice, super inviting, very friendly. So with that being said, I think I got at least 3 more events while I'm down here.
I'm only here for 2. Okay.
Yes, so I got a buddy of mine down here sent me the schedule for everything, and he's probably listening to this, so shout out to you, my man. He sent me like a whole Bay Area schedule, like who's playing Digimon Win. So like I'm gonna do 2 events this Saturday. One at like 12:30, one at like 5:30. So think I'm gonna be able to do 4 more events. Not sure. I have to double check, see how far away these are and what time I get off work. But with that being said, I'm not gonna play Cross. But I want people in the comments to pick what I play.
Okay.
So whatever you want to see, whatever videos have been on our channel recently, I think I got it with me. Would love to hear your guys' take. I'll definitely take that in mind.
Gotcha.
But that's enough about California. Reason why I don't live here. Reason why I live where I live. So tell me about Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home. So like we talked about last week in our podcast, we didn't have locals last week at all, so we missed it. It's been a couple weeks, so everyone was kind of rusty, a little quiet, like kind of getting back into the groove of things because we had a big thing rolling. It was like 20 plus. So I think that there's still a lot of people sick up here in the Pacific Northwest. We kind of put out the feelers like if you have any symptoms of anything, stay home, come back next week. Just we want everyone to be better. We don't want to continually get each other sick. So we had 14 tonight, so we still got our 4 rounds in.
That's awesome.
I got 4th. I ran an updated Machine Dramon that we have not shown on the channel yet, and I'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to our card of the week. I know you know the changes I made.
I do.
Super fun. Some of the changes aren't going to be super popular with some of the viewers because they revolve around Death X. But it is I play to win, man, and it is.
I mean. That's the thing, right? Like, Death X is obviously a very powerful card. A lot of people have very strong feelings about it, right? And I think you and I are both on the same page that if they restricted it, fine, we'll move on.
Absolutely.
We'll adjust.
Yeah.
But it's like we're playing with literally the cards we're dealt, right? Like, come on. Like,
and I think that if it was a card that wasn't necessarily a secret rare and it was just a super rare, then I think that people would have different opinions on it just based on the fact that it wouldn't be $100 card. It would probably be like a $20 card, $30 card.
Yeah.
So it is
I was just having a
expensive.
conversation last night with somebody, with one of our guys, and he was talking about like, well, what if instead of reducing the cost by 3 for every instant, it only reduces it by 2?
Yeah.
Right. Then it would be a lot more balanced. But
yeah, I mean, all they have to have is 3 bodies on the board, and you can play it at 1 memory.
Yeah.
Or if it didn't count Tamers, I don't know. We can talk about Death X another time. But regardless, I got 4th. I 2-0'd Examon. I 2-0'd Beazelmon. I tied against Jessmon. It was kind of a slow game. And then I lost to the guy that won. So
that is
not a terrible showing
night
tonight. I was pretty happy with it. I don't know if I'm going to tweak the ratios anymore or not. We'll probably make a new deck profile video eventually. But very happy with the changes. They are very substantial changes. That's why I might want to make a new, because it kind of changes the way that the deck plays.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it when we get to card of the week. But yeah, I got 4th and I was happy with it. I had fun. I got to kind of reunite with everyone and say my hellos. So
I know I'm jealous. I was literally messaging people on Discord, and I was like, "Oh, let me know how you do tonight." Or I was like, on the group, like, "Everybody, I miss you. Tell me how it's going."
Yeah, everyone.
I'm never active on Discord. You know how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, people were talking about, when we were going to do the podcast, and they were actually excited because I was like, "Oh, I'm going to see Jeff tonight." And they're like, "Oh, really?" I'm supposed to tell you everyone said hi. So
sweet. Well, if for those of you watching this out, in our shop area, I've been having a lot of time. I've been playing a lot of webcam games. Those of you who are fans of us, jump in our Discord. Yeah. Let's get some games on.
Those of you that aren't local, you can feel free to search out Wayward City Games, get in our Discord. We have a couple buddies from across the country that are playing with us now. So the Discord's open to anybody. So if you want to jump in and play some games, play with some of these decks that you see us profile and test, and it'll be fun. So speaking about playing online, that kind of leads to our big topic this week. And this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while. We just keep finding other things to talk about. But this is a very hot topic amongst the Digimon community, especially tournament organizers such as myself and Jeff, that love our local community so much. But I think this is a good time to talk about it because Bandai just announced the digital client for Dragon Ball Super. Yeah. Coming next year, or this coming year. So that kind of leads us into if they're developing the infrastructure to play a similar type game online or one of their other IPs, will they do the same to Digimon? And what effect will that have on our local community? Because we've seen the impact that it has on Pokemon. We've seen the impact that it has on Magic. Huge impacts on people playing those games face-to-face in the community. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? I mean, let's just talk about the overall view.
Yeah,
we can drill down a little bit more because it's a big concept, right? Because everyone likes to play the game.
I think that's the issue, right? Like, there's no like one word. Am I for it? Am I against it? Right. So first of all, like Dragon Ball Super, right? For our area, it's not a big game.
Yeah.
Right. Dragon Ball Super seems to be a really regional based game, especially like compared to Digimon. And I'm very curious, like the analytics, if Dragon Ball Super is, still popular. For those of you who are watching, let me know in the comments if you've played Super, if you like Super, and if you, still are playing it, or if you're worried about the game's gonna die, especially with, One Piece, which I think the system's a better version of Dragon Ball Super, right? I think it's like the next version of it, right? With the Dawn cards, that whole resource management, instead of using like an energy from your hand with Dragon Ball Super. So definitely curious what your thoughts are about that, but go into the online client, right?
Yeah.
So I know, for example, I played in the Bandai beta when they did that little lobby where you got a free Pulsemon if you played.
Yep.
I set up a webcam, I played some games, and it was really cool. I liked it because you went to like a table and then you like clicked buddy and then you like played. It had some difficulties and it's not perfect. And that was.
I might say that I think my bias against an online client might be scarred by that one night, because if I remember correctly, you left locals early to go do that.
You're right. I did leave locals early to go do that. Yes. Yeah. Because I was like one of the beta tests for it. So.
I know.
But no, I think the whole online client idea, like for example, like I don't play Pokemon with physical cards, right?
Nobody does.
perfect example. Yeah, nobody does. Like
Not
we
in
have
our
people
area, anyways. All of our views
yeah.
are locally, regionally sourced. So if there's
And
a
I
big
do
Pokemon following in your area, I'm happy for you.
and and like Pokemon is a cool card game. I obviously am biased. I like Digimon more, but I do enjoy playing Pokemon. It's really nice like when I'm kind of like casually playing a game, right? Because I can just load up the client, Pokemon, online,
Yeah.
and I can just like, especially if I have like a touchscreen laptop, I literally just drag the cards where I need to put them or whatever, and it's really good interaction. I really like the interface, cards being there. Like that's what's great about being at the shop because there's so many packs open, and sometimes those codes go unclaimed, and I get to I take them
Yeah.
home. Right. Or, a lot of people who open Pokemon just to collect, they don't want those codes. I take them. But I do think the effect that has, right? Because I don't like you guys have seen our channel, like we'll spend money on cards.
Yeah.
That's not the issue, right? Like, but I don't do it for Pokemon, right? I have no interest in playing physical, especially when I can just be like, yo, jump online, let's just bust out a few games real quick. And so I'm worried that if they do that for Dragon Ball, right, will it kill Dragon Ball, like as far as releasing new product? Why would Bandai keep releasing new product if it's not collected like Pokemon? And the only way people were playing it was through physical cards.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, yes, it will make the game, fun, like more accessible for people to play. Just download the computer, especially for those who don't have a scene. Like if there are Dragon Ball Super fans in our area that just have no one to play with.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to happen. I don't want Digimon to like all of a sudden we have an amazing scene, 20 people a week, have an online client, people stop coming to locals.
Yeah, so I think that a big part of it is going to be the distribution of cards. Like I didn't mind the client that you played, the beta one, because it still relied on physical cards. It still relied on,
Yes.
and it still had that community aspect, right? Like you met someone at a table, you fired both your webcams, and then you played that way through Bandai's interface. So you still had to have the physical cards. But based on just, our scene and the people we know, and like even myself, like we buy a lot of cards, but there's a lot of people that aren't going to invest in physical cards and digital cards.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to pick one or the other. And I think a lot of people, if the ease of access is I can play games easier if I can just stare at a computer rather than drive down to locals, pay the entry fee, do it that way. And I think that a big thing for Bandai is one, like how are they going to, like, are you going to buy packs? Is it going to be like distributed like that? And also, do we end up shifting the big tournaments to online with the big prize cards? Because right now, like, I think that is a huge driver in the game is those Ultimate Cups, those Evo Cups, those Grand Prix, all those cool things that generate those high dollar prize cards that I know I love to collect and I love to see. And I think that it really generates value in the game for people that are collectors and they want to play to win, not only because they enjoy the game, but they want those prize cards because it's an investment of their time and a reward for their investment. And so if they get to the point where there's more people playing online and they trash that aspect and they go to digital tournaments, I mean, yes, it's going to be better because like cheating is going to be limited and that sort of thing. But like this big regional that's going to come up in LA, like that's such a cool thing for people to gather and all the fans to get together. And I love the community aspect of this and the fact that
that's like the best part.
If they take that away, especially with all the stuff that card shops are going through with the Magic boycott and stuff like that, like Bandai is this glimmer of hope. Digimon is this glimmer of hope that Digimon and Flesh and Blood, I think, are the two biggest ones right now where people just like to get together, play the games, and just be part of a community. At least up here in the Northwest, like those are just two huge drivers, and they just inspire passionate people to play a game. Like even me, like I've never seen Digimon. Like I don't care about the IP that much. Like you can heresy all you want. I love the card game. I think it's a fantastic card game, and I'm starting to learn more about the IP just by being here. But
and dealing with me, right?
Yeah, and being with you all the time. Yeah. But I'm just worried. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I hope it goes well. I think that if they at least do something similar to Pokemon where they give us like a code card or something that inspires one to help the other one out. Because right now Magic is facing like they're getting Commander online now. They have 2 clients, and then they just introduced this other one that looks exactly like Hearthstone. Like they're actively trying to get people to play online, but they're not incentivizing anyone to buy physical cards.
No. And ultimately that's what this is, right? Like ultimately, this is a company making profits, printing cardboard with shiny things on it and selling them to us.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is, right? Like obviously the whole gameplay is amazing. Like I will play this game long after it ends, just like I do with some other card games that have ended. But you bring up some great points, right? Like cheating, right? Like cheating has been a problem with webcam tournaments.
Yeah.
So having that online client can fix that because you can't put 5 mats back in the Gabubon days into your deck, right? Or you can't sneak a Transcendent Sword in that famous video into your security and still lose, right? So it's just one of those things where it's good because it could prevent that cheating. And like technically the Bandai lobby didn't really have a way to prevent that cheating because you still had the webcams, right? And I think it would be nice to be able to play with international people, so that could be a benefit too, where, like if I want to play some of the Japanese meta, right? If I want to play some of those cards, right? Like, let's do that. But no, I am worried about seeing Magic in the state that is, because that was like, the game that I really started actually playing a while ago. I think it was I don't even want to say how long ago I was playing Magic.
Yeah, it was the gateway TCG for me. It's the one that started, and I rolled into 12 other ones from that because it's compelling.
Because you had so much fun, and you were like, Magic's cool and stuff. Let's try some other things. And Magic is fun and stuff, but Magic's in this weird state. And for me, Singleton's fun. Sure, and Commander's a cool concept, but it's not gonna grow the game. It's not gonna Standard is weird thing too. I don't know. Magic's just in a weird spot.
Well, and I don't want to get to that spot, so it's I never. I really enjoy the single format we have right now. Single format, the game, the game only comes in 2 languages, so you don't got to worry about that. Everyone shares cards around the world. I love the community aspect of it. How often do we buy cards overseas? All the time.
Yeah.
I love being able to do that. So it's I don't like anything in this game that fragments the community because I want all of us to stay together because it's such a fun community, and we just end up, especially with this YouTube thing that we're doing, we end up meeting people from other parts of the countries, and we talk to people in the comments, and it's it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're a Digimon fan, we love to talk to you, and it's everyone has similar views on a lot of things, and it's just fun to just talk and bullshit with people, and it's I feel if we start splitting things off, every time you even bring up Chosen Ones, I'm oh, I cringe inside. I'm I don't even want to talk about another format. Let's just keep to our format. I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to splinter, Even when our locals decided to do a second night on Fridays, I was nervous. I was I don't want to lose people on Wednesdays. Well, we get almost 20 people on Fridays too, so it's good. So we got a solid community. But I'm just hesitant on anything that might split the community. Whereas there is one upside to having an online client, and that is I think it'll be easier to get new people to play if they can learn to play on their computer, because that initial app that Bandai created is really only for people that want to play 1.0 because there's no new mechanics in it.
Exactly. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine who's hey man, I'm finally ready. Teach me Digimon. And I'm just thinking in my head, where do I even start? It's no longer turboing a stack or maybe getting a security stack or hitting a Gaia Force. Now it's hybrids, Digicross, all of these crazy mechanics that I don't even know where to start showing people. So I do think that an online client does have that benefit. And for example, while I'm traveling right now, right? I brought this webcam, right? So I could play with people, and I brought, a box full of decks. And that would be nice if I didn't have to do that, if I could just load up the computer and play some games.
Yeah. I think it's also good for some people because we have a very diverse crowd at our locals. And we have some people that come to our locals that you can tell just it's probably their biggest social interaction for the entire week. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's good for a lot of people. I know it's good for me because aside from work, this is where that's my, I don't go to the bars or anything like that. This is where I get to go hang out with my buddies, drink a beer, play video games or, card games. And I mean,
Yeah,
that's my social interaction for the week. And I think that that's really important for people because you can sit at your computer and play any game in the world, you know?
Yes.
And I think that, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm super nervous, but I mean, I want to play it. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to play it, you know, because I'm going to play
I'll
it.
definitely give it a try, you know, and like if they have an online client, it's not going to stop me going to locals for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll still be there because I love meeting with people in person, and you know, you just get that energy, you just get that vibe, like today, right? Like when I just got my ass kicked all night, like just the feeling of being able to fist bump my opponent and be like, "You got me good.
Yeah.
See you next time." Right? Like you don't get that. You don't get that face to face.
Well, and just the interaction of like opening boxes with people and trading
Yeah.
and, you know, getting the pieces you want and having physical copies of your collection. I still go through my binders almost at least once or twice a week just to get the feels and like find cards that I forgot about. I mean, we're like 12 sets deep now, so it's nice.
It would be interesting to see how Bandai did it, right? Like if, for example, the online client releases, right? I think they would almost be smart if they just release like BT1 of the starter decks from the beginning, and that's it first, right? Give it like a month of just that. Let people dive back in, just have some fun with some old school Omni Turbo, Young Rookie Rush, right? When we have nothing back then, just whatever fun stuff, and then slowly kind of catch things up. You know, that might cause a spark, give people some creativity, like people making some new fun things, or people, you know, that'd be a good way to teach a lot of players.
It'll be curious to see. I mean, we'll see what they do with Dragon Ball first, because Dragon Ball has an even bigger backlog than Digimon, obviously, right? Because it's like a couple years before. So they have, you know, 20, 30 plus sets probably by now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be pretty deep. So that's going to be kind of a big litmus test for this whole even concept that we're bringing up right now about Digimon potentially going digital. I think eventually it's probably inevitable, but I'm curious to see how they implement it, because I think that's kind of where my bottom dollar is. I think that they both need to complement each other, whether it's code cards or promos or something, or the online clients lead to the in-person regionals and stuff like that. I think that they have to find a marriage of the two. I don't think they can both exist exclusive of each other, or we're going to end up in a Magic Pokemon situation.
Yeah. Now, last point I'll make, because I know the Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't they have that like console game, Duel Links? Is that what it's called? They came out.
I think so.
I don't know. You guys forgive me. I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. The cards are too small. But all those in the comments, tell me what the title was. But I think, because I've seen some gameplay. I've seen people, especially like the real quick, like, you know, I always think of like the Exodia combo, right? Where it's just like you get these 5 pieces, you win the game. So like the ridiculous combos, ridiculous chain Yu-Gi-Oh! Does. I get it. And like, so it was cool gameplay. It was cool to see it. But I'm curious what that has done for the physical scene. Because, like, for example, the card shop I was at today had 2 events: Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament going on and a Digimon tournament. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament still had more players than Digimon, right? So I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still a very, very popular game, and it's obviously hasn't been hurt by that client. But now you have like you can get like a PlayStation, right? You can just play Yu-Gi-Oh! With your PlayStation. Like that's amazing. That's perfect for me, who's not a real computer gamer. You know, so like if I could just play on my Switch, like just play Digimon, right? That would be great.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how they do it. I mean, we'll see. I think a big thing is going to be is if it goes mobile or not.
Yeah.
Because I think that was a big one for Pokemon and Magic, is as soon as they went mobile, then people could play anywhere at any time, play on their breaks and do all that stuff. So I guess we'll leave it right there. I know it's a big controversial topic. Feel free to argue with us in the comments.
Definitely want to.
I know everyone has an opinion on it. You know, it is what it is.
Well, it's good. It's good. Yeah. We want people with strong opinions.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody, just agreeing with us because we said so.
So moving in, we're gonna talk about some new stuff, because that's all like doom and gloom kind of stuff, right? Essentially, depending on what your views are on it. So let's talk about some stuff we're excited for. So we're gonna talk about your call. We'll talk about it first. We're getting into EX4 reveals. I mean, I don't remember what episode it was, but I definitely remember putting some graphics together for the video, trying to find this Bravemon line that we are apparently getting finally. It's coming.
I am so excited for this. Now, here's the deal, right? Bravemon has always been one of my favorite Digimon. I feel like I say that every episode, whatever. But Ravemon, always been one of my favorites, but I thought for sure, and I would have bet money, I would have been like, here is an Alt-Art Analog Youth, that it's going to be either a yellow or a black card. And I'm glad nobody made me take that bet. I'm glad nobody said anything about that because I was wrong. And it is in my favorite color to play. It's in purple.
Purple. And it does purple
Bandai must be a huge fan and a big subscriber. They probably made like 10 accounts just to listen to me talk about Ravemon and purple cards. And they said, you know what? Jeff gets Ravemon and purple.
Yeah.
Because we get an awesome level 3. We get a great the Pekmon, the Yagatarimon, which will be translated into Crowmon, and then the Ravemon and the Tamer. We get that whole line.
And an option.
And I even saw somewhere on like Facebook today that they were showing burst modes, teasing burst modes. But I think that's for
BT13.
13, which means Ravemon Burst mode will be there with the Shine Gray Burst and the Mirage Galgamon Burst. So very excited about the Ravemon stuff. And I'm excited too because like I always like playing birds, you know. Shout out to my Pokemon Scarlet playthrough where I'm literally just doing an all bird team. So now I get to use like that Saber Dramon with the Retaliation, inheritable. Whether or not you use Ornismon, I don't think you do. But the whole idea of this deck is going to be fun. I cannot wait to build it.
Now we're going to talk about the next big reveal from EX3. We're just cherry picking some of the bigger ones here because there have been a lot of them. I know there was a Rise Greymon that we went back and forth on a little bit because we just released your Yellow War Gray deck, and there was a new Red Yellow Rise Gray, and I was like, nah, and you're like, no. At least not.
And it's not that I didn't like it; it was just for that one deck.
Just for that one deck,
yeah.
But so hopefully we're gonna get another Shine Gray. I'm hoping. So we'll cross our fingers for that.
I don't know if they'll give us another Shine Gray, right? Like, cause I think this EX set's not gonna have the room for it. And I kind of have a feeling with BT13, they're not going to have room for Shine Gray as well, unless it's specifically just the burst mode. So there will be that. That might be one of the level 6s that can like Digivolve for 1 on a Shine Gray, or maybe 2 on a level 6.
Oh, so it'll be like an X antibody, so it'll go on top of one. It'll be like an Alterous mode kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'm kind of curious if they bring back the Digiburst mechanic in that set, where you'll like. I don't know if it would be something like Shine Gray, you can Digivolve into this by Digibursting 4, whatever, right? I don't I have zero clue. I'm just speculating, right? Hopefully it's not that like restrictive because it's a very cool card.
Yeah.
Very cool concept.
Speaking of really cool decks that you were playing tonight, Blue Flare got a Mega.
Yes.
We have the Gray Knightsmon. I mean, I guess it looks like a Greymon.
I don't understand, right? Like, I feel like Blue Flare is kind of at its peak right now. I know it doesn't have all the new stuff, but like Blue Flare's strength is that Metal Gray, right? That Metal Gray is so devastating. Like, you keep playing that, you tax 2 ice, you stun boards, you recycle it with the Greymon, with the male Birdramon, right? As far as that deck goes, I mean, what is the purpose of adding in all this other stuff? This whole Grey Knightsmon. So I'll talk about this for a sec. So apparently Grey Knightsmon, I had to do some research. It is from, I guess, a manga and a video game where it was like alternative timeline where Nene and Kahira teamed up to form, like Twilight with Blue Flare, and they did cross them together to make this thing. Right? So what kind of deck? Because, Dark Knight's obviously very strong too.
By itself,
Yeah, Dark Knight's powerful by itself. So you start taking Dark Knights and you put in Blue Flare stuff to play Grey Knights, you're gonna hurt yourself. Or same thing with Blue Flare. Like you take Blue Flare, all of a sudden you're like put in some Nightmon stuff, you're gonna hurt yourself. So it's like I'm almost. We were just talking about Chosen Ones, right? Or the Singleton formats, and I'm thinking like, is Bandai trying to like encourage other formats with this card? I mean, I'm super excited. Like, please Bandai, keep releasing. Obviously, you're a big subscriber with the Purple Raybon, but keep releasing obscure Digimon. Keep releasing faces we haven't seen. Keep making me do research on these guys. I don't necessarily need another Wargray every set, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not a bad thing, but I just don't understand the deck building, and I'll have to see what happens.
It was kind of like when the Cross 6 came out or whatever with the Beelzemon cross in there, and you're like, how would you mix that? Like, it'd be really weird to mix.
Yeah, even BT11, right? Like BT11 is going to get the Cross 3, which is going to make Cross stronger. But Cross 4 was better than Cross 3, and it's more like Well, you know what I'm saying? Like that deck was kind of peaked too, I think I've been seeing some cross lists topping in Japan, so I got to spend some time researching, figure out what that deck is doing and how it's playing different or something like that. But it's just weird. It's just weird. We're getting all these like supplemental sets to these strategies that I feel like really did peak,
Yeah, peak already. But there are certain things. I mean, like I saw a list of a tournament winner in Japan with red hybrids. The red hybrids are making a huge comeback. Like there are certain things that they're doing to make older decks more viable and playable, but it's like Blue Flare's already strong.
Yeah, Blue Flare's already incredibly ridiculously strong. Yeah.
So we got a mega, and I'm curious to see how you implement this next mega into your decks because we have a Gamamon list on the channel.
Yes.
I can't pronounce it. Is it Sirismon? Like
XM
Radio, Sirius XM Radio Mon?
The whole Gamma Online is based on like stars, right? Like there's like different star patterns, so that's like a Sirius, right? So and there are also a little bit of those, Triceratop dinosaurs. It's like a whole thing. They did a really good job designing it. So I don't know if there's going to be more level 6s for the Gamma Online. Heard some rumors, seen some things where it's like every one of the level 4s is going to have its own unique level 5. And then that level 5 could have like unique 6, right? It's going to be like the Vital Bracelet, where you have your dude and you can digivolve up to different chains and go into different things. And that's kind of like the concept that they're going. I think that's a strong thing Digimon can do. Like, for example, those who've seen the 2020 reboot anime of the original Digimon Digidestined, right? Where all of a sudden, like Metal Greymon digivolves and it's not just Wargrey, he digivolves into a Blitz Greymon in the anime with the original characters. And I know I knocked my socks off. I was like, that's awesome. Like, that's what Digimon should be. The ability to do like alternative evolutions, just like we have with the card game, right? So I think Digimon and Bandai's kind of starting to realize that direction. But as far as this card goes, and as far as Gamamon goes, it's very interesting because right now our deck profile that has Gamamon plays the Wargrey. I haven't updated a list, but I think Dorbic is a natural fit into the whole Gamamon line. Yeah. Dorbic benefits off the dinosaurs, the dragons. The inheritable makes a lot of sense on the Can of Weiss. For the Dorbic, you can, do a lot of fun stuff. It's very strong. It's good. Do I think that's the best version of Dorbic? No. I think we got a great contributor. Hopefully he's watching. I was talking to him. He was showing me his awesome Dorbic list. I'm trying to get on the channel. And I specifically gave him homework. I was like, go bug Jesse. Tell him all about this.
Yeah, I saw him today. I know who you're talking about.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Hopefully he did. Hopefully we drag him. We're either going to film. He's either going to film it, or I'm going to take his list, film it, and make sure he gets every ounce of credit for it because it's this killer list, right?
So what do you think about the Siriusmon? Or is it going to be used in Tribal?
So the Siriusmon, I think it's going to be used in Tribal for the diehard Gamamon fans that specifically want to play the deck. But to me, the card felt underwhelming upon first glance. And unfortunately, I love the Digimon Ghost game. It's killer anime. It's like, even if you're not into Digimon, it's a good show, right? Like I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. Like this is the best one they've made by far. Very clean. It's good stuff. Definitely recommend if you haven't seen it. But I don't think any of the promo level 6s that have been revealed are that killer or game changing or will make the deck runnable. Like, unfortunately, Angoramon, all of that support just got the worst of the worst. The Jellymon level 6, the Amphibimon, I think is what it was called.
Something like that, yeah.
Is pretty good, right? Like, it's not bad for sure. It's definitely strong. So they gave Blue another strong level 6, which is cool, right? But the whole Siriusmon, I think it's one of those, like, there's a reason why this is like a promo or a.
Well, that was my next point. Is like it's a promo, so who knows when or if we're ever going to get it? Because they decided in this last like 6 to 8 months that they're just not going to be consistent by providing promos in the order that they're numbered.
Yes.
So I guess we'll see it when we see it, and maybe we just never see it. I mean, we had a whole starter deck we didn't even get.
Yeah. So eventually, I do think there will be in a normal booster pack, a Gamamon level 6 that will be significant for that deck. That will make that deck come back and will be a better replacement than Dorbic. Unfortunately, I don't think the Sirius is it. Sorry.
Artwork looks cool.
The artwork's great. The design is cool. I mean, it's like for me, like who is a Gamma fan, yes, I will be messing with it. I will be having fun with it, but
if it
it's
works,
not
we'll
like,
let you guys know.
yeah, if we can get our hands on it, right?
Yeah, if we ever get it. But talking about what works, what's been working for you? What's your card of the week?
Okay, so this is a card of the week that I didn't see coming. I was literally today. I was just messing around with some stuff, working on some lists. I was kind of working on my homework assignments that you guys have all been giving me. Just a quick recap of that. While I'm traveling, I have too much free time on my hands sometimes after work, where I'm away from the wife, away from household responsibilities. So I like to deck build. I like to theory craft. So homework assignment, whatever you guys want to see me build, whatever you guys want to see me update, let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to start working on them. So I started working on some of those. And I came across this card, the Sister Mon Blanc from the new Jessamon starter deck.
Ooh, okay.
So for those of you who know me, I'm not a Jessamon fan. I've never liked the deck. Never liked Jessamon. Just too much of an edgelord for me, I think. Where he's not my thing. Like obviously the deck's very strong. I get it. Just not my thing.
Yeah.
Right. This Sister Mon Blanc is killer. And I've had a lot of fun with Sister Mons in the past. You and I had this awesome Royal Knight Zoo deck.
Yeah.
That is still one of my most favorite things you've ever played.
Well, thank you.
I see this Sister Mon, and I'm completely inspired. Like it's been a while since I've seen this card, and it's like I remember opening the Jessamon starter deck and like looking at the cards and seeing the Sister Mon in action, but nothing clicked until today for whatever reason.
Right.
I don't know if like you can tell how busy I was at work today, right? While I was doing this. But Sister Mon Blanc, man, like just
you're talking about pitch one, draw two.
Yeah, pitch one, draw two. That's incredible. Incredible for only 3. Plays a 3K body. Draw two. Like so many decks. There's times where I just like think about putting purple into decks to have extra draw power, right?
Yeah.
And I think the Sister Mon is going to be a great substitute. So like I was like thinking like, oh, now this is a great draw engine for Raidenmon, for example. This is a great draw engine for anything that just wants some cards of trash or cards in hand. I even saw it today, which is hilarious because on my way to the locals today, I made this decision. This is going to be my card of the week. My last round, I played against Red Purple Imperial Dramon. And guess what card was there? Sister Mon. So that's my card of the week, guys.
That's a great card of the week, and we've been seeing that in some Machine Dramon lists too. You get some extra draw. Yep. I don't think in Machine Dramon it's as good as Sagurumon. I mean, maybe you run it concurrently with it, but it's definitely a good card. And I totally agree. I've been trying to think about decks that I would tech it into more, but it's very good in Jessamon too because it also is that the decoy one too for Jessamon decks.
I don't know. Once it says anything about like Huck or Jess, I stopped reading. So
I think it is the decoy one. I'm pretty sure for
guys,
for red black. All right, my card of the week. So we're just gonna tee this one off because this was it's one of those like epiphany moments where you're just kind of laying in bed having trouble to sleep. You're like, I was thinking about my Machine Dramon list, and I was like, what cards are dead in my hand? What cards can I just? Because once you build the deck for so many sets, it just becomes like an optimization thing,
You're making it efficient. You're making it your play style. You're countering the meta that you've seen.
Yeah. And you're thinking about like the last 5 or 6 times you played the deck, and you're thinking about every match. And you're like, what sat in my hand? Like it's kind of a big one, right?
What did nothing? What do I wish I had?
Yeah. So I was going through and I was like, man, I think I have too many level 7s because I had 4 level 7s. I had 2 Death X and I had 2 of these Omnimons that I kept switching in and out. I was like, I don't know if I like the Zwart. I don't know if I like the Zwart Defeat. They were kind of just sitting there. And so for whatever reason, I was just kind of like, let's think about options. Like I could add more removal options, which is never a terrible idea, but those are kind of expensive. Those sit in your hand too. And I was starting thinking, and then I still went to like Kongu, like, do I want to be a control? But I was like, no, because Machine is like aggro. It's fast, right? I mean, like once you get it out, you want it to do big damage. And then I remembered Final Zubagon Punch.
Yeah.
And this card has not been on my radar since before BT8 or whenever, Death X came out.
Yeah. Well, that was both of us. Remember, like Zubagon, we hadn't talked about Zubagon, used it until like that Red Death X video from like the beginning of this channel.
Yeah. It's a very, very, very powerful card. It's a 2 cost. 2 cost gives a Digimon plus 3k. Any Digimon. Gives them plus 3k. And then if that effect causes them to go over 16k, they gain security attack, blocker, and reboot for 2.
Only 2.
For only two.
2.
So very versatile card. So it actually made me increase my Death X number up to 3 from 2. Now that's going to be the unpopular opinion, but playing to win, boys and girls. Like it's a cutthroat world out there with all the Ophanimons and all the Examons and stuff. So we're playing to win. But it has definitely, tonight was so much fun. I was able to Zubagon on my Imperial on multiple turns, especially against like Examon and stuff. So you end up with an 18k blocker that did 2 checks and it reboots. And it retains all that until the end of your opponent's next turn.
Yeah, I
was even able tonight to use it on a Mechanorimon for one turn to make him a 9k blocker, because he's already
just so that way he's a big beefy blocker that can just
blocks level 5s and restands.
I didn't even think that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that.
Very cool. My favorite play tonight, though, was I had a Machine Dramon, able to swing with it for... it had the metal gray, so it was +3, +6k, so it swung for 17k, did like 4 checks because it had the inheritables loaded up, the +1k from that. And then I was able to Digivolve on top of that into the Death X, cleared their board, and it still rebooted because it retained the effect. Because I don't have the generic reboot until BT11, right? I don't get that until I get the Gigadramon. But it still had the initial reboot from the residual effect. Yes. So as long as you have any of your DP boost, your Mega Dramon or your Metal Greymon underneath your Machine Dramon, you're going to get to that Magic 16 number and get all those effects. So it was a really fun tech tonight. I used it on multiple cards in the deck, and that's kind of what I was looking for, was something that really just came out of nowhere, and it's a great card.
So did that Zubagon Punch make you change your 5s? Like, I'm not talking number of 5s, right? Like, I'm more talking like, for example, the BT6 Gigadramon that you used to play, where it gives +2000k on your opponent's turn to make it even like a higher blocker. Did you use that something you decided to put back in, or you thought about, or? I
did change the number of 6 or 5s I used. I took out because I'm giving security attack +1. I took out the Volcanomon, the one that only gives it if they have unsuspended Digimon.
Okay, not a bad call.
So I took that out. And I went down to 16, and I like that number because I was running into having too many level 5s. So it was a good marriage. I took some things in, or took some things out, put some things in. I was able to take out the 2 Zwarts. Those did nothing for me, essentially, most of the time. And when they popped off, but that's what a lot of level 7s
do. I love the Zwart. I miss the days of just fun Zwart stuff.
Yeah. But I think the Zubagon has definitely made Machine a lot more fun, a lot more efficient, and it just gives you more options with your entire field. It gives you a lot of different options of what you can do, especially when you're able to swing at anything with your Machine Dramon, even if you don't have the inheritables underneath them. The fun part is it lets you choose your pieces for Machine Dramon differently, because you don't necessarily need, if you want to tuck, if you're going to swing and you want to do big security check, like if you want to tuck a bunch of security effect stuff underneath them and swing for a huge check, you can do that and still retain that blocker and reboot for your next turn, and then Chaos Dramon your next turn, and then tuck the blocker reboot underneath. And then, like, you can make bigger, longer plays by using the Zubagon.
Yeah, and a strategy when I play against your Machine,
right,
is I kind of to try to attempt to delete that Machine Dramon, and I make you trash the sources that are like that blocker's resource or that reboot or something that gives you extra security attack or DP, right? Like that's kind of like the strategy. Like, yes, make Gaia Force and attempt to delete the Machine Dramon. You're just going to trash 2 sources. And then those 2 sources that you trash could be the difference between you winning that next turn or, 2 turns later, right? So now that Zubagon answers that, I think, really well.
Yeah.
Like, now it's like, okay, I'll trash 2. I can still Zubagon.
Yeah, and it still allows you to use your Machine and your Chaos Dramon independently if you want. And then it's just an easy answer. If you play a Death X and they don't find a way to kill it, if you have it on your next turn, it's an easy go-to just to drop 2, make it an 18k reboot blocker with 2 checks, like for 2.
It swings over anything.
Yeah, because that's always the thing, right? Like if they have Retal or if they have a big body on board, you're like, I don't want to leave my Death X suspended. So a lot of people don't swing with the Death X just because they want that residual effect at the end of their opponent's turn. But this opens you up to swing for not only 15k but 18k, 2 checks and reboot,
and then
and block on your neck. Yeah, so very, very good card. I mean, you can even double him up and spend 4 if you have the memory, and make him plus. You can be 21 for 3 checks. You know, you can do whatever you want with this thing. It's crazy. So very fun card. A lot of people don't see it coming. It's a BT4 card, so hasn't been involved in any meta conversation in a very long time.
Is that the only card that people still use from BT4? Well, I guess people still use a Goonimon logo.
Yeah, Goonie logos.
Like, I think those are the only cards left that people use out of BT4.
Yeah, Lucy's gone the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. That's my rant about Zubagon Punch. Check it out. Please play with it. We even talked about making a Death X deck that just plays 4 Death X, 4 Zubagons, purple mats to recycle the Death X's. Just a deck just to make people hate us online, you know, just to enrage the comments, you know.
Just call it like Ultimate Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I might build that this week. What are you building this week? Other than what everyone tells you to build. I guess you already kind of said, right? Yeah.
So I've been finally having some time, and I've been having, you know, some, so like I said, it's a good stroke of inspiration, especially seeing that block. So one thing that I was really excited about building was BT1 Metal Garurumon from Blue One, right? So back in 1.0 days, I was a Red Omni Turbo fan. Always loved Red. The playstyle with extra security checks. I thought Gaia Force is way better removal because I just hate Kikaida's Breath. Absolutely. Like, I almost hate it as much as I hate Jesper. But just kidding. So, no, so like the BT1 Garurumon is a fun deck. Like, it is really fun to be able to spawn out that Garurumon that then unsuspends itself, and then you like swing again and you spawn out a 3, right? That's how the deck worked back in BT1. Yeah. So you played, you know, the BT1 Gabu, the BT1 Garuru, BT1 Metal Garuru, right? Fun deck. Absolutely fun deck. I had a blast with it, right? But the problem with that deck is the problem with a lot of the 6s who are 11k or less, right? It is easy for that to die, and then your entire stack of resources, your entire combo is gone.
Right.
So how do you overcome that, right? Well, how did I overcome that with the Yellow Wargrave from BT4? Well, you increase the DP using a lot of the red sources, right? To do that with the Garurumon, we have this awesome new X Antibody card that say, if you're going to die by battle, you can trash 2 of the same level.
Yeah.
So now that BT1 Garurumon can swing, spawn out a level 4 Garurumon from BT1. You'd be able to live in battle. And then I can swing again, and now I can spawn out Garurumon X Antibody, which is level 4. And then I can chimera those 2 together and do it again. Okay. So that was the whole idea.
That's what you're working on. You're mad scientist. Yeah.
I know. I was having, like I said, work was obviously very busy today.
And he kept sending me these lists. What did you send me? Like 4 lists today? I'm like, okay, well, he's got.
Well, I held back too. I held back because it's like I know if I send too many at once, they all blend together. So I get it. But
I'm checking it out.
Working on some Momimons. I updated some things I want to try for Raidenmon to kind of have some more of that funner, older stuff. And then we were just talking about it a little bit earlier, but your Royal Knight Zoo that I also had built a version of.
Yeah.
Worked on a version of that. So
maybe we'll do a zoo off. Maybe I'll build one, you build one, and we'll see where we land.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that Sister Mont Blanc is good. So I was like just thinking like every deck that I had problems with drawing or accelerating speed. And like that's a great point too. Like one of the decks I brought with me just kind of on a whim, right? We were, talking about level 7s and Paladin mode, and I forgot I put Paladin mode in my Leomon deck.
Yeah.
So apparently Leomon does have a desirable following, and I forgot all about it because that was a deck I built in BT8 and EX2 BT8 and hadn't touched it since. And brought it with me, and everyone's been having fun watching us play with the Leomons and fun a whole Leomon conversation. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a cool deck. Why haven't I filmed this?
Yeah, we'll put that one on the channel for sure when you get back.
Well, that or we might have to wait for BT11 with the new Panjamon.
I'm not waiting 2 months to put that deck on the channel.
Yeah.
We'll just update it.
But, and like I said, everybody just send me what you want me to start building. I'll start 3crafting some stuff, and we'll have some fun with it.
I'm going to work on some final tweaks to Machine. I think I like the ratios. I'm going to do some more play testing. I mean, I played 4 matches with it tonight. I just took it straight out of my head and straight into out of the gate to turn to the tournament tonight. I didn't really play test it at all.
Best play test.
Yeah, it was great. So I got to see some really good verses against it. But I might mess with. I'll do some more testing. I mean, we'll do some more testing. You'll get to see it in action. And then I'm still working on Hexablow. That was a big thing that I've seen online. People are looking for Hexablow updates. I have made a list. I'm still tweaking it. I like the changes I made. I think I'm going to add some more Chimeras. I ordered 2 more. I'm going to get them in. I think I'm going to go higher in the Chimeras, just being able to go into the 5 for free and then get into that. Because the faster you get into that 6 is really what you need. So I'm still tweaking the 6s. I think I like the Frost Velgamon or Velgromon. I can never say that word. And then I think Imperial Paladin mode is beautiful for that deck. I think it's better in that than it is in Imperial. So
still convinced, man, you got to do Azulong because I actually, my first round, right, against Blue Flare tonight, the guy played an Azulong on top of his Metal Greymon, unsuspended, gained a bunch of memory, and wiped all my security.
How do you
it was crazy. Because of the Metal Grey. Sorry, because the Metal Grey. He swung with the Metal Grey first.
Azulong doesn't unsuspend. Gotcha.
But,
okay.
Man, it's so good. I know you don't want to play it. I'm not going to tell you how to build your decks.
Well, I mean, I'll test anything, so we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll get there, guys. When it's tested and it's vetted, I will film it. So, speaking of that, we got a new deck that dropped. Well, when this drops, it'll drop yesterday. It's my Security Digimon deck, so that drops
Thursday.
Yesterday. Yeah, when you're watching this, yeah. So check it out. It's my baby. That's my brainchild. You know, I don't make a lot of decks. It's mostly this guy. So when I make a deck, it is something that I've usually been working on since the beginning of time. But I'm really proud of it. I have a lot of fun with it, and I think it's really fun. So check it out. So that's going to be it for us tonight. What?
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, hopefully we take advantage while I'm gone and get our remaining members of our killer team. We have tons of great people on our team that also build and stuff, and I try not to just flood everybody with what I'm building, but it just seems to happen that way.
No, we got more coming. So we'll get those guys in here. We'll get some more decks filmed for you guys. I know you guys love the deck profiles. We love making them and we love filming them. We got it down to a science. So that's going to be it for us this week. We got one more week of Jeff via satellite, and then he's back in studio live. Right in time for Christmas. We'll make some Christmas decks. We'll make some red-green decks or something for you.
Oh, man. Tyrannos.
There you go.
You know I love the Tyrannos.
All right. Christmas Tyrannos deck. See you guys.